yes. Yeah, me, Emcee Sherman Collapsa, and guess what? Chicago, the world. We're sitting here with my man Vice.
Yo, what's good? What's good?
Yeah, bring that mic a little closer to you.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta talk directly into that one.
Yes. What's happening, world? What's going on? Live with my guy Collapse, man. We go back, man. We go back a little ways, man.
All right.
What up, Jace? What up, Smalls? WHBK in the building, baby.
Yeah, let me give you a little bit more. Speaking it, let me give you a little more.
Yes. Yeah, get the little fuller on a little voice. Yeah.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we gonna give y'all some history. We're gonna weave through time and bring y'all up to the present.
Yes, sir.
So where you originally hail from? Where were you born at?
I was born right here in Chicago, Illinois, South Side. My family's from the West Side.
Okay.
Both my parents went to Crane.
Okay.
So yeah, I was grew up on the West Side mostly because all my family was over there. But I'm a South Sider, man. I'm a South Sider, not from the Highlands. We on the South Side, 91st and Laughlin. You know what I'm saying? Brandon Park, stand up.
Yes, indeed. So now that everybody's celebrating the 50th year of hip hop. But when did you start doing hip hop? When did you catch that?
That fell in love, cut off the bug. I'm keeping it a buck with you, man. It was a little late. I was a late bloomer. I grew up in the house where my mother and father collected a lot of records, jazz records, funk, and only hip hop that I really listened to was the hip hop on the radio.
Okay.
So LL Cool J, Run DMC, anything that was on the radio, I was rocking with. But it wasn't until the Color soundtrack, and I heard Eric B. and Rakim's "Paid in Full," and it was 3 songs: Eric B. and Rakim's "Paid in Full," Big Daddy Kane's "Raw."
Okay.
And Biz Markie's Vapors.
Okay.
So I had a friend. We had just moved from Chicago to Country Club Hills, and I had a friend in Hazel Crest who played basketball. He had a basketball room in his backyard, and it was a girl that went to high school with me. My homegirl Toya. She used to put a boom box up to the back of to the window and play hip hop. So while we playing a song, I'm like, man, who was that? What's that you playing? And so she, I gave her some tapes, and she made me some tapes, man. I think my first 4 hip hop albums were dubs. It was EPMD's first album. It was Public Enemy's second one. It Takes a Nation of a Million to Hold Us Back. It was Big Daddy Kane, and it was KRS One. That was it. 1988, 16 years old. I caught the bug, and it was over. It was over after that, man. I fell in love with hip hop after that.
All right, but all right. You was talking about your parents playing the jazz. What kind of artists was you hearing coming up though? What was those?
Man, with my dad, it was he loved everything from Ray Charles to James Brown to Miles Davis, John Coltrane. Herbie Hancock, Kool and the Gang was a favorite of my pops, and my mom's was she was more Al Green, Commodores, Temptations. Gladys Knight was her girl. Patti LaBelle, she was a big on the R&B. Luther Vandross, she was big on those things. So really, mostly what my mother played and the mother and father played in the house is what I really gravitated towards.
So that kind of set a foundation, listening to these artists that were putting in this work.
Yeah, and a lot of the songs, it was crazy because when hip hop first started, they were using a lot of samples, and my father had mostly all the samples that they were sampling. You know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of the records at the crib.
So he laid that your mother and father laid that foundation when you started to gravitate towards the hip hop.
Yeah, most definitely.
So what high school did you go to?
I started off at Lindblom, out south, and then we moved to the suburbs, and I went to Hillcrest till I graduated. Hillcrest High School out of Country Club Hills.
So, listening to the early artists coming out like a Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, KRS or Public Enemy. What effect did that have on you?
Man, it was crazy because, like, hip hop was just really starting. So I remember when, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five was out, and the Good Time song. I'm looking at how it was growing, and to like '88 to see the, like you said, the Slick Ricks, Chubb Rocks, the NWAs, the DLCs. It was crazy because I loved hip hop, but I wasn't really. I could rap because I did poetry, but I wasn't really trying to rap. I was more of the hip hop dancing dude. So I was trying to do Scoob and Scrap. Yeah.
Really? So yeah. you seen them?
Yeah, man. Leg 1 and leg 2, and Scoob and Scrap. That's who I was trying to be because the dancers got the females. So it was
that's
like
true.
Even though the rappers got the females too, but the dancers. They got the females, man. So it was like, man, I need to. That's what I was doing. So it wasn't until I took it seriously a little later on. But hearing those guys, man, it was in the different styles, Okay. So it was certain MCs that stuck with me. Like when I heard NWA, Ice Cube stuck with me.
So what was it about NWA? Coming up in Chicago, knowing that Chicago had all these street organizations, and hearing the NWA, Ice-T, how did that?
It was crazy because I didn't have any idea of what the gangs were outside of Chicago.
Okay.
So to hear about Crips and Bloods and they got gangs situations like that out in LA, it was crazy. I was able to understand it, you know what I'm saying, and because they wore blue and red. Sort of like Chicago was blue and red. So it was like, it was funny because, like I was just telling somebody the other day, Chicagoans, we listened to everything. So we was rocking with NWA. That's the West Coast. We was rocking with the East Coast. I had friends that was playing Magic Mike tapes with the bass in them from Miami. I had homies playing 2 Live Crew. I had homies playing the Dayton Family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what's the Top Authority?
Yes.
I had a bunch of people playing. It was so I'm hearing all of these different styles, man.
And there's this mixture of the street and knowledge and the party. And
that was really heavy. The mixture of what they were spitting. You know what I'm saying? The street. Like you said, you had the guys that was talking about the street stuff. You had the dudes that was talking the knowledge, and then you had the dudes that was just talking about, just ride around music. You had the party music, so it was like it was different. And like I said, I had different MCs that caught my ear. It was like Ice Cube was one, Shock G.
Okay.
Digital Underground. I was a very big fan of Digital Underground.
Yes.
And not even before, when I was in high school, it was Digital Underground, Big Daddy Kane. And Rakim. Those were my go-to guys, man, when it came. But I loved everybody. I loved Special Ed. I loved Chubb Rock. I got down with Cool Keith, Ultramagnetics. I got down with it was just hip-hop was coming from every direction, you know what I mean? And it was, everybody was sounding different. That was one thing about that. We even had La Raza. We had so much different stuff coming up, man. So it was like, by the time I really got into trying to pursue being a rapper, I was well schooled. I was one of those dudes. I had a job at Dominic's, so I get paid every week.
Okay.
Every week I was buying hip hop, so I had a vast CD and tape collection. Okay. I had everything. So like I was well schooled on hip hop, man. Well schooled.
Yeah, but also at that time in Chicago, we also had that house scene.
Yeah.
That, because you talk about going to the parties and dancing, the girls, because, it was it wasn't too many rap concerts coming through at that time, early on.
Right.
So we had these big house parties that, that didn't really, they played a hip hop song mixed in here and there.
Right.
But did you go to any of those?
Oh yeah, being from Chicago, house music was automatic, man. It was I was at all the house parties. I rocked with. That was something I listened to stifling the hip hop. Like I listened to house music and Prince. That was what I really listened to when I was growing up, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, high school. Like it was house music and Prince, man. And I rock with hip house a little bit when hip house came out, but I rock with house music a lot. House music, if being from Chicago, that seemed like an automatic thing to be a Chicagoan and love house music. So I was at those house parties where they didn't play no hip hop. They didn't play no hip hop, man. They would just play house music, and if they did play hip hop, it would be Saturday night, Disco Dave.
Okay.
They'd put the radio on and then start playing, stuff. But yeah, they didn't really play no hip hop. Mostly back then, if it was hip hop being played, it might be a fight. You know what I mean? Depending on what type of hip hop you was playing.
So, coming out of that, and coming up and, moving to the 90s when we started really, getting hip hop on the radio. Where was you getting your hip hop on the radio from?
Man, excuse me, mostly during that time, it was the regular radio station, WGCI, WBMX.
Okay.
I had a friend, being so far, I lived in Country Club Hills. So I remember hanging out with one of my homeboys one night, my boy Lee, big up to Lee, Lee Neal. He had a blue Chevette, and we got in the car, and he turned on the radio, and I thought he was playing tapes, but he was playing the radio because it was cursing in the songs. And I was like, man, what is this? He was like, this is radio station WHPK.
Okay.
So I heard, that was the first time I heard in WA, I heard the strawberry is a neighborhood hoe. I was like, yo. So when I got to the crib, I turned immediately on my radio, but I couldn't get a signal.
Okay.
So it was like only certain nights could I get a signal from WHPK. I had to put my radio all crazy, had the antenna hanging out the window and shit, you know what I'm saying? So it was hard, but most of the hip hop that I got it off the radio growing up, but once I got a job, I got my hip hop from the record store, Magical Records. I would buy a hip hop tape or R&B, mostly hip hop tape every week and a single.
Okay.
So I had it got to the point where I was just buying shit. That's how I would find certain MCs. Like what was my man name that was from Texas? He wasn't. I forgot my guy's name, but it was just a bunch of rappers. I would just grab shit,
and just because it was
right, because I didn't have it. I write a list like I'm gonna get this week, this person. If I saw the video on Yo MTV Raps,
okay,
or Rap City, but I would go out and buy the songs. You know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of my music. I bought a lot of my hip hop music myself.
So you had that, create that special feelings, right? Like
yeah.
Like this is something I wasn't getting, and it's like now I'm discovering, literally going out and discovering, artists. Well, I bought this, but I don't like this.
Right. I discovered a lot of people trying to think of my man name, man. That was a bunch. It was a bunch of people. That's how I came across Just Ice. It was a bunch of people I came across. I was just grabbing tapes. That's how I came across Chubb Rock, really. Because Chubb was the first album, Chubb Rock, and I forgot the name of the first album, but that's how I found it. Found Chubb Rock, just picking up the album. Like,
Was it the Winter Is? Was it the Winter Is?
I don't know. I think it had a long.
Okay.
I think it was the Chubb Rock and the Winter Is. I think it is. That's the first. That's how I found Chubb Rock. I was like, damn, this dude cold. You know what I'm saying? Only big dude I knew that could flow like that was Heavy D. So I was like, damn, Chubb Rock was fresh. So that's how I found out a lot of these hip hop cats, man. Just because of hip hop, and like I said, the videos, all these new videos they were showing, and hip hop was so fresh. Everybody had a different style. It was pretty dope during that time, man. So
let's take it back a second, and because one of the things is like I try to stress to people who do listen to these interviews is that the foundation in the home that was set, with education and and building I don't know what you call it your manhood or your womanhood and stuff like that. How was it in your house?
Oh man,
how did your parents, bring you up to be who
Yeah.
who you are today?
Education, man, was real big in my house. Education was real big in our crib, man. My father was like a Black Panther almost.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My mom was she was a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
So my dad wasn't part of any religion during that time.
Okay.
He wasn't in part of any religion.
Okay.
So they taught me it was just a lot. Like I said, education was really big. So I had to do something in school.
Right, because I think we in the same age range, so I'm believing like our parents came up out of the 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Of that the Vietnam War.
Yeah,
and
my dad had to go to war. He went to war.
So he was in Vietnam.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is my father. So so he coming out of that situation. He coming home and telling you, as you growing up, what is he instilling in you?
He's instilling in me first off to never go to the armed forces.
Okay.
He was like, that is not the lick. So and my parents had put me. I was in like a lot of the classical schools, so I was pretty smart as a kid.
Okay.
So I was at Mark T. Skinner.
All right.
Vanderpool and Lindblom Technical School. So it was like I was at a lot of, like I said, education was very big in the house. My mother and father was big on that. Like you had to do your thing in school, and before anything, that was first in line. Education was first. It was everything else came second. He was deep on that. They can't take your education away from you. They can take a lot of things away from you, but they can't take your education away. So they were really big on that. Really big on that.
So when it came to you to pick up that pen, because I was listening to the new album, I listened to the other word, but when it came time for you to pick up that pen, that played a big part in what you, as an MC.
Yeah, they played a very big part, man. Doing all these homework assignments, the books I had to read. Like if I got in trouble, my father would make me read books. Like I'm being on punishment, I had to read the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Okay.
It was like he would make you read. So it was a lot of knowledge.
Okay.
A lot of knowledge being shared. You know what I mean? So that helped me a lot. And the music I listened to. So I listened, like I said, I love Prince. Prince was a great writer. I loved Stevie Wonder, who was a great writer. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was a poet. I'm writing poems to the little ladies at school. So I was dabbling in hip hop a little bit, but it wasn't until I got to be a senior in high school, really my freshman year in college, that I stepped out there to be a rapper, be an MC.
So wait a minute. So all this time, you just was participating, but you didn't pick that mic up until
I was just
college?
Yep, I was just participating, man. We would be in the middle of I had some homies, and we would be in class. We supposed to be in class listening and shit. I'm writing raps, and we would be in the middle of we would go out in the middle of the hallway after class, in between class, and we would battle.
Okay.
And I was better than everybody. And everybody was like, man, you should take this serious. And I was like, man, I ain't finna be no rap. I know I'm the dance guy. I'm doing MC Hammer, and I'm doing all the latest moves. That's what I was on. I'm on that. So yeah, it wasn't until I got to college, man. And it really, this is why he would never leave my top 5, is the reason I would even rap. Like, I love, like I said, Rakim and Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
I love them, but I didn't think I could do that. You know what I mean? Because them dudes was cold blooded.
At that level.
Yeah, I didn't think I could do it like what I was doing, but it wasn't until I heard I knew about Ghetto Boys. Okay. But it wasn't until I heard Money and the Power by Scarface.
Whoa.
And Scarface is the I used to play that song over and over, even that album, and I was like, that's who I want to rap like. I can do that. So I first started rap. I even started rapping because of Scarface. Scarface would never leave my top 3 because he is the reason why I'm even an MC. His stories, I love the way he told stories. Like Big Daddy Kane and Rakim was giving knowledge, and I didn't know nothing about 5%ers and all that type of thing. But what Scarface was talking about, from Houston, I saw that every day in Chicago. You know what I mean? I saw that every day in Chicago. I saw that, so it was like I could relate to Scarface. It was like, man. You know,
Yeah, because this pen is ill. You know,
Penn was, especially then, man. Like I said, Money and the Power, and it was the sample because I knew what the sample was. I was like, oh man, this is it. So it wasn't until I got to Jackson State my freshman year that I started really writing.
So, what made you go to Jackson State?
Oh man, that was my parents was big on me going to somebody's college, and they wanted to be at HBCU.
Okay.
So I had, like I said, I was pretty smart. I got a 21 on my ACT, so I was accepted to a couple of colleges.
Okay.
But they wanted me to go down south. So I didn't know I was where I was going. It's a crazy story. I tell this story to everybody. At Jackson State, I didn't know where I was going, and I was watching. I just came home from work, from school, and I was getting ready for work. And I used to get ready by watching Rap City.
Okay.
Or it was Rap City at this time, and because it's BET, and they showed a HBCU commercial, man, and I saw our band is called the Sonic Boom.
Okay.
And the girls that dance in front of the band, they are called the J-Sets.
Okay.
Man, I saw those J-Sets, and they were so fine. Collapse. I was like, man. I was videotaping. I stopped the tape. I rewound it and stopped. I was like, what the fuck? I ran downstairs. I was like, Ma, I know where I'm going to school. I'm going to Jackson State, which she was happy with because I got family in Mississippi on my mom's side. So it was like, and it was one of the greatest decisions I made in my life, man, was going to Jackson State. Off of the beautiful J-Sets. That's the reason why I went to Jackson State, man.
Hey. Whatever it takes to get y'all to these schools.
Man, Joe, it worked too. And it worked too. So yeah, that's when I really started rapping for real.
Okay. So you get to Jackson State, and what made you take the rapping, the MCing more serious? What pulled you in more?
Well, I'm gonna keep it a buck. It was I went to J State my freshman year, and because I did so much, and when I was in high school, I used to model.
Okay.
And I joined the modeling squad at Jackson State. So instead of doing a lot of my homework, I was doing a lot of partying and socializing and doing extra things. So I had to come home. I had to come home back to Chicago to build my GPA back up.
Okay.
So I wound up going to South Suburban College out there in South Holland.
Okay.
To bring my GPA back up. And it was during that time when I took it serious. I started working at this telemarketing spot, and I used to just rap, write raps down. And there was this guy I work with. Y'all know him out there as Travis, but his rap name was Clutch Cargo.
No, what's crazy is that I didn't know. I know somebody who is related to him, but I didn't know that who.
Yeah, man. That was the homie. So he walked past my desk. He saw me writing something. He gonna pick it up and then throw it down. He threw it down and was like, I could do something better than that. So he wound up writing the rhyme, and we would go back and forth with the writing of the rhymes. You know what I'm saying? We writing the rhymes back and forth. And it was around that time, man, 92, when I took it seriously. I started writing songs seriously and doing things real. Like I was really, really putting my mind to it. So I brought my GPA up and went back to Jackson State. And that's when it was real serious. It was real serious then. That's when I ran into some other rappers. Okay.
So Clutch Cargo put that battery.
Yeah, he put the battery in, man. That's Clutch. Clutch put the battery in, man. Because I was just playing. Like I said, I was just playing. You know what I mean? I didn't know where no rappers was or where anything was in Chicago. And we both lived in the suburbs. I was in Country Club Hills. He was in Markham. And we just would hang out, and we would freestyle. We would hang out, get some homies, and we would just freestyle. That's all we do is freestyle.
Okay.
So I wound up bringing my GPA up, and I went back to Jackson State. And then when I went back to Jackson State, it was like full-fledged. Yeah, because that's the year I really learned how to be an MC, was the year of 93 when I went back to Jackson State.
So when you went back to Jackson State, what happened? What was the atmosphere down there as far as the hip-hop scene?
Man, the hip-hop scene in Jackson is crazy. It's just like Chicago. It's they have a lot of rappers down there. It's a pipeline from Chicago, really. It's a pipeline.
Okay.
So the hip-hop scene was crazy. And on my campus, there was a crew of MCs. They called themselves the Stew Pot Stowaways.
Okay.
And so on the Stew Pot at this time, you had David Banner.
Okay.
You had Kamikaze. who was part of a group called The Network.
Okay.
You had Ice Gree and EP, who was Abstract Mind State. Steady Serve was part of the family.
Okay.
Tone Be Nimble was
Okay.
part of the family, and they were this little crew. So I get back, and I'm Model Chico. That's the nickname. Nobody knew me as Vice. They knew me as Chico the Model. So they had a cipher up on the hill, man. And I went up on the hill and killed the cipher. And Ice Gree and my boy Lazy Lee was like, "Yo, Chico the Model rapping? You can rap? Hey, man, you got to come by the crib." So they took me by their house, and I met all the stew pot. And that summer, that year of '93, we did. We put a single out. We was opening up for the acts that came into Jackson. So the youngsters, I got to meet the youngsters. We got to open up for the Odd Squad, which was Devin the Dude. Yeah. Before him and the little blind dude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They were cold blooded.
Yes, indeed.
You know what I'm saying? So like it was that year, man, of us just freestyling, and that's what we did every day. We would go get some cheap ass beer. We weren't really smoking weed like that, man. We could get some cheap ass beer. We would put some beats on, and we would rap all day long. Freestyle all day long, and that really that helped me out a lot because I came back home. And when I came back home to Chicago, it was like, man, I'm coming back I'm hearing about guys like Juice and Gravity and the Rubber Room. I'm going to the shows up at Elbow Room. So when I came back, it was like, wow, hip-hop was crazy at that time. Like I said, in Jackson, it was the same way. Jackson, Mississippi had a lot of rappers during that time. You had the Mississippi Mafia. Okay. You had the my guys that made I forgot the name, 601. They had a song called "What's Up, Jack." It was a lot of rappers in Jackson, Mississippi, man. A lot of rappers, and it was a hub that a lot of hip hop came through. So the Atlanta guys and the Texas and New Orleans, they came to do their shows a lot in Jackson.
So and what you just said though, you named a lot of artists that had bases here in Chicago. Like with Juice and
Grav,
Steady Serve.
Steady Serve was part of the crew, man. And I went to high school with Serve.
Really?
I went to high school with Serve, so I heard, I'm like, Stu, they're like, yeah, Steady Serve, part of the Stewies. I was like, word? And Steady was there, and at that time, I want to say the single came out with the joint he had with the Bruce Lee sample. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. That single that came out, that 12-inch, so he was like a superstar.
So you was sharpening your sword with these top notch.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. I was rapping with some killers, man, and it was I was rapping with some killers, and I was holding my own. You know what I mean? So when I got back home, it was like that was probably the best school for me. I call it like a chamber because, like I said, all we did was rap. And there was this one guy that was in school with me. His name is P Dope. Rest in peace to P Dope. He just passed this year. Okay. P Dope could freestyle, man, like it was written. Okay. Like his freestyle sounded like they were written rhymes. And during that time, my freestyle was just okay. I would say a lot of diggities if I forgot something, or I'll say curse. But me and David Banner would be with him every day because we was like, we have got to get our freestyle like that. Okay. And we was like, how you do that? He was like, man, I just practice every day. I just freestyle every day. And so me and Banner, like the whole summer '93, that's when me and David Banner was together every single day. Okay. Almost. He would be at my house every single day, and we would be freestyling. We would put beats on. He did beats. He was always in my stash of my tapes. Okay. Getting samples. I think Banner probably got a couple of more. Still got some of my tapes with him right now. But he used to get samples, man, and he would bring his beats over, and we would, back then that's when all the tapes had an instrumental on the single, so we just playing hip hop beats and freestyling, man. So it was like trying to be like P Dope is when I was able to sharpen my sword to where my freestyle sounded like it was a written rhyme. Okay. So by the time I got to Chicago, like I said, I could stand in it. Because if I didn't do that, I swear for God, I don't think of P Dope. I swear, if I wasn't trying to be like P Dope, I don't think I could have made a mark here in Chicago like that.
So when you come back to Chicago, you run into these other MCs.
Yeah, because Clutch didn't go to school with me. Clutch stayed here. Clutch stayed in Chicago. So while I was in Jackson, Clutch was telling me all the hip hop shit that was going on.
Okay.
And then my roommate A-Rock would come home for break, and he would go and bring back the HBK tapes. He was the HBK guy. So I'm listening to all this shit, all this different hip hop. You know what I mean? And I got the Travis Clutch telling me about these artists. So I had heard about Juice before I got to Chicago. It was like, dudes like, hey, man, you know, it's this nigga named Juice, man, back in Chicago, man. He cold-blooded. Now, I'm an MC, too. I'm like, man, fuck that nigga. I'm cold, yo. He can't rock with me. I'm a stewpot stowaway. So it was like when I first got here, we went to the Elbow Room.
Okay.
And the first night I went to the Elbow Room was crazy because Fat Joe was there. And Fat Joe was performing, and Common and Juice came on stage. Okay. So I got a chance to see Juice, and I was like, whoa, this dude is crazy. Right. This dude is crazy on the mic. He was dissing Fat Joe and Common. He was up on stage with him dissing him. I was like, damn. He an MC for real. Like, he don't give a fuck. So, and that was the next weekend we came. It was crazy because that was who I saw the first week at the Elbow Room. Okay. When I went the next week went the next weekend at the Elbow Room, and I saw the Rubber Room. Okay. And I was like, damn. Now I heard of some of these guys because before I got home, when I first got home, Clutch had let me hear this CD that came out of Chicago called Talent Fest. Yeah. And so I heard Ange 13, I heard Juice, Get Off My Productions, I heard Spillane's, I heard
East of the Rock.
I heard D to the S. Okay. What was Extreme?
The Figure
group. I heard, so I was like, yo, Chicago got a scene that's almost like New York in this motherfucker, man. Okay. So when I got here, it was kind of like I told her a lot of them. I was kind of fanning because I was hearing listening to music like these motherfuckers cold. So when I met him, man, and when I was at the Rubber, like I joke with Spo about this all the time. Okay. Spo was the host, so Spo let me get the microphone one time. We went up there like 4 weeks in a row. Spo let me get the microphone one time, and he never let me touch the mic again.
No, why not?
We talked later on. He said that it was so many rappers that wanted to get on the mic, and he had to put his crew on. So, and Elements of Nature was a big ass crew. Yes. And they held down the Elbow Room. So, one of our homegirls, Marquita, told Clutch about this open mic on Randolph called The Spot. Yeah. So when we went to The Spot, that changed everything, man. It was a little bit different. Lil Ray was hosting, and Lil Ray gave the microphone to me. Okay. And Ram and Spin was DJing, man, and I killed it.
So yeah, talk about The Spot a little because a lot of people might not.
Man, The Spot was it was an open mic that popped off on Thursday nights. I think it was probably the best open mic to me. Well, Elbow Room, both of them was dope, but I liked The Spot. The Spot was dope. You walk in or get there early. The DJs are playing hip hop and nice neo soul music. And then about 11:30, 11 o'clock, 11:15, Lil Ray will be like, we about to open it up. Okay. And it was crazy because it would be a lot of women would come to The Spot just for the open mic. You know what I mean? So when he said we about to open it up, man, and Ram and Spin to get on there and play those beats, man, it was like, and the Elbow Room was on Monday, The Spot was Thursday. So when MCs came to Chicago to do shows, if they were in town, they was coming to The Spot. Okay. They was gonna come to The Spot or the Elbow. If they was in town for Monday, they gonna come to the open mics. And a lot of them didn't get on the microphone; they were just sitting back and watch
what was going
on. But the fact that me and Clutch, we was on the mic every week. Lil Ray was looking at me like, look, man, you one of the ones, you touching this microphone every week. So that's really how I got my name. And hanging with DJ Ram and Spin was helped me out a lot.
We're going to talk about them a little later. They influence and they impact on the scene. But Talk about you just mentioned that a lot of ladies would come to the spot
Yeah, man.
to get on the mic.
No, not to get to watch it.
Just to watch?
Yeah, they would just watch.
Watch the MCs?
Just to watch the MCs, man. They would come in, they would get their drink. Same thing at the Elbow Room. They was like, because you had the hip hop barbershop. There wasn't a bunch of girls at that. That was Sausage Fest, Hard Leg City.
Okay.
But when you at the spot, man, when they said open it up, when you looked in the audience, if it was 200 people there, at least 100 was women.
Yeah, because hip hop was always that male testosterone.
And especially in 95, 96, you know what I'm saying?
Right, with that hardcore.
Yeah, females
grimy.
coming in, they dressing like Mary J. Blige, you know what I'm saying? It was like, they want to hear some good, and you heard good hip hop there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, that was great. So you had a great audience, man, to judge where you were lyrically.
And then you could, preview something new, and if it didn't work, you go back and work on it.
Yeah, you go like my shit was always freestyle. Like my cousin DJ Scrap, he laughed because when I went to Jackson State, we would do shows. The Stu Pastor would do shows. We were like the Wu-Tang.
Okay.
So everybody would go and have their little set. I didn't write no songs. All of my songs, everything that I performed was a freestyle.
Okay.
It was off the top of my head. I didn't write shit. I had one song, and I did not know the lyrics by heart. So every time they heard that song, it would be a different rhyme, and everybody was tripping because it was like that's how I got my freestyle on point. My whole show would be freestyle, and DJ Scrap Dirty was with my DJ.
Okay.
So he would play the beats, and I would just freestyle. So when I came to Chicago, man, I could freestyle a whole song with a hook and everything. So I was like, and like I said, I needed that. I needed that chamber in Jackson to even be able to
come back and do that.
Man, here in Chicago, because when I got here, like I said, and you got Gravity, you had Juice, you had Lil Ray, you had Minister 4/5, you had
LTD,
you had Rhyme Fest. Rhyme Fest was coming to the joints. You had Ange 13 was coming up there killing it.
King James,
my man Flux, Old Type Star, Ken Diesel, Big Shoes was coming to the microphone. Like, it was so many dope ass MCs, man. Thig. I don't think Thig came to the spot a lot. Okay. He didn't come up there to the spot a lot. I met Thig at the mall, but it was like every MC, man. My guy Kingdom, the Shy Rock posse, man, they would come out deep. Like, it was so many MCs that would be at them open mics, man. And I tell a story a lot. I think that when they stopped the open mics, that kind of assisted with the violence.
Really?
In Chicago, with the gangs.
Because the open mic gave them an outlet to.
It gave them an outlet, man, and inside the spot, because it was Elbow Room was really north side, so south side is the people from the suburbs and Hunters don't go that fucking far. So they would, where Randolph was the spot, it was the perfect spot. And in that open mic night, you would have so many different gangs.
Yeah. In
that one room, nobody's gang banging,
but we
on the microphone. So like when we would hook up and connect with one another, and it's like, man, we go to somebody's hood. And my hat to the left, and I'm in the GD hood. Good. The way I'm looked, the way I'm dressed, they're like, oh, he a rapper. You must be here for so and so.
Yeah,
what you doing in this hood? You must be here for so and so. He good. He a rapper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That saved a lot. Now it's like, it's different. But back then, man, you walked in the neighborhood, they knew who the rappers and the DJs
that
were.
hip hop unified these
unified street organization, man, because there was no fights in the spot. It was you had battles, but wasn't nobody getting shot or boxing. It was like they kept it right there.
Because even in some crews, you had people with
different gangs. You know what I'm saying? So it was like you had different crews coming to, and it was different, man. So I tell people all the time, when they took those open mics away, it really did something to Chicago. You know?
And I agree with that. Because, like I said, I've seen it. That how hip hop unified it. You could come into the parties and whatnot, or go in areas to open mics, or just stuff that was happening in the parks that people put on, and you didn't have to worry about your hat, your colors, or whatever. You was good. You could get there safe and get out of there.
That's real talk.
And I think that's what really needs to be brought back.
Yeah, man. Hip hop.
Unity.
That unity. That was a bad thing, man. Like I said, we would be. The hip hop barbershop was on 70 something in Western.
71st.
Yeah.
Like 70. Yeah.
Man, that was the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the hood. On a Saturday night, we going over there to the barbershop.
Okay.
They made sure that nothing happened on that block during that time when we was in there, because they was in there with us.
Okay.
They in there for, if they couldn't rap, they just wanted to be around it. You know, because that's how hip hop was. They just wanted to be around the rappers. You know what I'm saying? There was so many gangbangers in there, and you got cool with these dudes. Like, man,
exactly.
So you come through the hood, it's like, oh, that's Vice. What's up, fam? Oh, that's my guy, man. He cool. So you straight in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no bullshit.
Because that was Mary Thatcher, right?
Yeah.
Who put that was
I think
involved in that?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know we would.
Yeah,
That was one of the spots we used to rock with.
And that's what I was saying. In the '90s, we had these little things that popped up. You know, people found spots where people could perform at, an outlet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get on there. You know, and the DJs. Let's talk about some of the DJs. DJ Ram, what was his influence on you in hip hop in Chicago?
Man. If it wasn't for Ram, man, I tell people, I give cats they flowers, man, and that helped me in my career.
Okay.
And DJ Ram, DJ Scrap, first DJ Scrap, because I went to school with Scrap.
All right.
Scrap was my first DJ.
So we'll talk about Scrap first.
Okay, Scrap is like, if anybody don't know, that's my cousin, big DJ Scrap. He's the president of the Violator All-Star DJs, right-hand man to Chris Lighty, rest in peace to Chris.
Okay.
But back then, Scrap was just a cold-ass DJ. And then he left J-State and started the Technicians.
Okay.
That was his group. So with us being a group, you know, Scrap being a DJ, he had all of the instrumentals.
Okay.
You know, the record pool shit was popping off.
Yeah.
So he had all of the instrumentals. So when I got back to Chicago and we hit the spot, that first night when Lil Ray gave me the microphone, Ram and Spin was spinning.
Okay.
So when I got off, we leaving out, they was like, hey, man, come here. They called me, they clutched to him. They're like, man, you know, we got cool. And Ram invited us to his crib. And he was out east at that time. He was out east. And that was like the match made in heaven, man. Thanks to Ram, because through Ram, you know, because I was around him so much, and he was such a dope ass DJ, listening to so many records. Yeah, he knew exactly what songs to give me. At the open mics. Okay. He knew exactly what I would sound dope on. When he saw Lil Ray pull me up on stage, he would have a song queued that he knew that Vice was going to rip on. Okay. So, like I said, even with Ram with HBK, you know, that's how we got to meet you and JP Chill. Okay. It was Ram. They had you guys let them come up there and bring their tables. Yeah. And they would spin live. You know what I mean? And so just Ram, and being with Ram, and with Scrap, especially Ram, I would meet all of these people at these record pools. That's how I met Mary Thatcher. That's how I met Cootie, Happy, John. I met all of these dudes through hanging out with Ram, going to these different record pools they had here. What was my guys, PNS, the Mole Men? The Mole Men. You know what I'm saying? They had one of those guys, one of them in the Mole Mill had a record pool. So like Ram really helped me out in Chicago, man. Right here in Chicago, if it wasn't for Ram, it was.
So he pulled you into what he was.
Yeah, he pulled me in, man, and he had a. When I first met Ram, that's how I met Rhyme Fest. Okay. Ram had Rhyme Fest. And I think Ram was on some. He taught me that if you're a rapper, your best friend is to have a DJ. Yes, you better have a dope ass DJ as your friend, man, and a producer. But that's how I met Rhyme Fest, because he had grab Rhyme Fest up. So he was just out grabbing, trying to find dope ass MCs.
He was building an arsenal.
Yeah, he was building one, man. So he grabbed up me and Clutch, and me and Clutch would go over there, and we met Fest. That was the first crew I was in. It was the Scientists of Sound. It was me, Clutch Cargo, DJ Ram, my boy Fahim, Rhyme Fest, and Sirius, a guy named Sirius. And and Rhyme Fest was younger than us, so he couldn't really get in the spots like that. We had to sneak him in because he was like a little bit younger than us. I think the spot, I don't know if it was 21 over. We had to be 19, but we would sneak him in. So, but we had a cold crew, man. Like it was like,
man, if y'all listening, y'all heard the lineup.
And we had a cold crew, man. And Ram made sure it was cold because we'd be at Ram crib and he had all these instrumentals.
Okay.
And we would just go buy beer and he'd just be playing remixes and instrumentals and we freestyling and he'd tape it. And it was like, man, you know, I really, during that time, I was just enveloped in hip hop. So it was like, I just knew I was finna blow up.
And so with DJ
Spin too, man. Spin was Ram's right-hand man. And Spin was the same thing. Spin, because it was always DJ Ram and Spin. They were like a crew. They were together.
Yeah.
You couldn't find one without the other. They didn't DJ without each other. So it was like they did their shits together, man. So it was like those two dudes. I was mostly around Ram because even though both of them were married at that time, Ram moved around more.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He moved around a little bit more, and we would be at Ram's house more.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, Ram, man. Big up to my big bro,
yes,
DJ
indeed.
Ram, man.
DJ Ram 100.
Man, he put a brother on. If one from Ram, and this was crazy, man. A lot of people don't understand that. Even Kanye, Ram was the first one to discover who discovered Ye. You know, Ye was dating Ram's baby sister.
Okay.
So that's how I met Ye. I met Ye when Ye was in high school over in Ram house. You know, Ram had an ear for grabbing up talent, man, and having them around him. So, yeah, Big Ram, DJ Ram, he helped me out a lot in Chicago, man.
And so then you moving through Chicago, you run into my man DJ Big Chud.
Man, so yeah, I met Chud, man. It was a little bit after that. I had like I said, I'm in Chicago. I just knew I was gonna blow up Calypso. I knew I was. Come on, man, I'm coming. Yeah. Tone B. Nimble had put me on the radio at 106.
Ooh, Tone B. Nimble, peace.
He had me around. He had me and my boy Ajax on the radio, and everybody was putting me like the rappers at that time. I swear for God, I know people probably think I'm lying. There's no cap though. In 1997, 96, before I moved to Atlanta, it was 5 MCs. 5 MCs in Chicago that was getting looked at to being signed. That was Gravity, Juice, Lil Ray, me, and Rhymefest. Okay. It was those 5.
Yes, indeed.
There was those 5, and I was just like, man, look, Gravity got signed to Correct. Juice was, everybody wanted to sign Juice. You know what I'm saying? Juice and Rhymefest. And I just felt like Lil Ray had just signed something with And One. He was about to do something with And One. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna move. So I moved to Atlanta. Okay. Just up and moved. I felt like Chicago was moving too slow.
Okay.
And then went to Atlanta and ran into some more Chicago hip hop history. I started hanging out with a crew with my homie Nafish.
Okay.
Who at that time was Get Off My Productions. He was RC Quest back in the day doing all the Juice production. And DJ Shem. Who was Twister's DJ back in the day. Okay. So I'm with these guys in Atlanta. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it was when I came back from Atlanta a year later and hanging out with Ram, I met Chud. Okay. I met Chud through K-Bar.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about K-Bar later.
Yeah, my boy K-Bar. we met him through, and me and K-Bar became a group. Called ourselves Prime before Primo and my boy Royce the 5'9" was Prime. Me and K-Bar was Prime first, and that's how we met. We met Chud then because Chud produced some of the best songs we got, man. Silly. Yeah, Chud was doing a lot of beats for us back then.
Because he was DJing at the U.S. Beer Club, Company, and a couple other spots. You know, he's from the Gardens.
From the Gardens, yep. South Side from the Gardens, yep.
And stuff. And he had a crew of MC.
Had a crew of MC, sure did. He had a crew of MC. That was the shit back then. Everybody had a dope-ass crew.
Yeah. Because, you know, moving through the 90s, you know, because you even had East of the Rock was about to get signed. And with Flux and Mr. V.
Yeah, it was a lot of people coming to Chicago looking at our scene, man. It was a lot. Because Chicago was moving and shaking. We just didn't have any labels here.
And so one of the things that was a tie-in factor was WHBK.
Man.
And most of y'all know that when you came up to HBK, you walked up them stairs, And you know, the broadcast booth was there, but in the back was the library.
With all the fucking records.
With all the records.
And a lot of y'all niggas stole.
But it was a gladiator school once those
yes,
MCs stepped in there.
It was a that's when I put it on my Facebook page earlier, man. If HBK if they played your music or let you rap, because it was only during that time. I didn't know anybody else that was DJing up there other than you and JP Chill.
Right.
And let me tell y'all know something. Kalopsa and JP Chill was now playing no bullshit.
I even stopped records in the middle.
You even stopped rapping. And if you was whack rapping, they would be like, nah, don't let him come back up here. Nope. So it was like you said, man. It was like a
gladiator school.
Gladiator school, man.
Because on a Saturday night or Friday night you walk in, you would have a Ryan Festival back there.
Yep.
An LTD.
Yep.
A
Just
Big
chilling.
Stew.
Yep. Big Stew. My bro, Big Stew. You right.
You have original Steve Ski Matrix.
Yeah.
You have a.
And
enough Ryan flow.
Yep.
Those Infra Black Cats.
Yep.
The Mike and all of them. Marcy. You know, and Drake egging them on.
and then we didn't make it any better because my crew during that time was thick, man. We had this crew. It was called the Renaissance. So the Renaissance, I already told y'all who was in my crew. So it was Rhyme Fest, DJ Ram Clutch, Fahim, Sirius, and then we had Elements of Nature was part of our family. And people don't know Elements of Nature. That's Dirty MF. That's the Spillane's, Tony Bangs, Cool Out Chris. That's Sand, my man, Sand. Rubber Room. That's their family. Then we had the True Black Tribe. We hung. They was in our crew too. So you got Frost and Bob Chin and Sandman and Verb and Picasso. We hung out together. Yeah. And then you had the IMF, and the IMF was Busta and Lit and Tic Tac and Misfit, you know. So we hung out together, man. So we would be like 3-4 Carlos deep, and like you said, we get to HBK, it's 16 of us, and it's already 6, 7, 10, 8 to 9, 10 MCs back there. So man, we had
packed in.
It was and the MCing back then was top notch.
Yeah,
stellar,
you couldn't come in and be like mumbling. You couldn't come in and be like
you couldn't
ad-libbing. You had to, because you know you had a K-bar.
Yep.
You know, and we gonna talk about, but K-Bar also a top notch MC.
K-Bar still a cop. Daryl, y'all don't know that's Daryl. That's the motivational speaker, Daryl C. Cook, who Daryl K. Cook, I think Daryl Cook that's out there doing this thing. But back in the day, man, that was K-Bar, and he would be up there too.
Yeah, he'd be up there too.
K-Bar would be up there too. K-Bar would be up there too.
And I'm trying to set.